Hello, my friends, Gary Goers, and fellow poets. Welcome back to Conversing with Poets. Melted, hot, sweaty conversing with poets. I'm literally melting. I apologize for the plunging neckline, but um, I'm already like the back of my neck is already a swimming pool. So I apologize if I get really, really sweaty and horrible to look at throughout this stream. But hello, everybody. Hello, a poet. Hello, Mark. Hello, class. Hello, Danny. Hello, Genevieve. Hello, everybody. Hello, watching. We have 9 people watching, but only 2 likes. Come on, guys. You know what to do. Smash that like button if you don't mind. It really, really helps. I'd appreciate it. We do have Nightbot back in. YouTube is showing me everyone's handle's name. Yes, we're having this conversation in the mod chat at the same time as well. We're literally talking about it in the chat, in the mod chat. I hope you have water with you. I have already finished most of my drink, elderflower. So not good, not good, not good. But yeah, YouTube are changing things a lot at the moment. There's lots of new features. This top fans thing is a thing now. They've decided to show handles instead of usernames. I don't know what's going on. YouTube is having a moment, I guess. But yeah, it's very hot and sweaty here and apparently in other parts of the world too. So we're going to try and get through this. I may pass out, but if I do pass out, at least I would have done a live stream for you guys. It's been a really stressful week. I've been working on the National Poets video. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted the thumbnail on my stories. I've been working on the National Poets video, but I'm really trying to up my game with things. So I'm using lots of clips, lots of effects and transitions and sound effects and stuff like that. And my poor computer, especially in this heat, my poor computer is not enjoying it one bit. More water, yeah. Well, I did have a full glass, but I finished it by the time we went live. Um, what was I saying? Yeah, my poor computer is really struggling. Every time I click Premiere Pro crashes, every time I add a new clip, Premiere Pro crashes. It's difficult, but I'm getting through it. I'm getting through it. But as I say, I'm trying to raise the bar on my content for you guys. But how is everybody else other than really, really hot and clammy and sweaty? What are we up to? What have we been doing this week? Glad I didn't change my handle. How hot is it in England? I heard it was going up to 31. I heard it was going up to 31. I'm not sure what it is right now. Maybe Danny can check for me, but it's very, very hot. There's no breeze. It's really humid and close, and it's just so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Oh, Nightbot is back from timeout. Hopefully, we'll see how Nightbot gets on. Hopefully, Nightbot has calmed down a little bit. What has everyone been up to? Tonight we're going to talk about poetry forms. We're going to talk about poetry forms. We're going to discuss common mistakes that are made by poets. And we're going to talk about pigeon poo too, because what is a conversing with poets stream without pigeon poo? How hot is it in England? Convert to Fahrenheit, please. Okay, so that is just under 90. I'm in top chat. Did Danny say something? Okay. That is just under 90. Wow, okay, so it's not just under 90 Fahrenheit, apparently. I think it's meant to be 31 Celsius. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot, and I'm dying. But it's okay, because I'm with my friends, the poets of YouTube. The poets of YouTube. I may just be a puddle at the end of this. 32 plus tomorrow and Tuesday. You are kidding me. I'm not going to get any work done tomorrow. In 32? No way. It's roughly, I'm going to have to go somewhere with aircon. It's roughly 76 Fahrenheit in Canada, and I think it's 102 in California Fahrenheit. Wow. So we're not too far off California. My first conversing with poets. Hello, Kara. Good to see you. Good to have you here. We're just discussing the incredible heat and how I am melting. Adam the puddle. Soon, soon. I should have brought like a towel out for like it's crazy. You should do a live stream in your bathtub. I don't have a bathtub. I haven't had a bathtub in years. I've only got a shower. I do have a hot tub, but I haven't fixed it. It's broken. It's broken. But glad to have you here, Karen. Don't be shy. I'm sure you won't. We've got what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about common poetry mistakes or common mistakes by poets, poetry forms, and we're talking about some pigeon poo too, just for good measure. Because why not? Unfortunately, my blue LED, the battery died just as we went live, so might depend where in California and in Canada, both of which I realize can be abbreviated as CA. Hi everyone, hope you're all keeping cool and drinking plenty. You must feel like you're in a sauna in that shed. Can't you open the doors? I do feel like I'm in a sauna. I had a sauna yesterday and it wasn't too far off from this. Um, can I open the doors? I can, but then I get all nervous and anxious that my neighbors can see me and hear me streaming. So I'm sure they can hear me anyway, but yeah. It depends how unbearable this gets. Oh yeah, you still haven't called the dude, Adam. I still haven't called the dude. I still haven't called the hot tub dude. But that would be fun to do a stream from the hot tub, huh? I was just catching up on the mod chat. That is hot. I've experienced worse as an Angelino though. We usually get a day or two above 100 Fahrenheit every year. Wow. It's been better though in recent years due to climate change cooling LA. I think LA must be getting cool. Again, I wouldn't know, but judging by that, LA is getting cool, and the UK is getting certainly getting warmer. The last few summers have been quite warm. Okay, who's ready for some news headlines? As always, when we go on to our next screen, there's going to be a fun little chat box somewhere up here, somewhere up there. No, I was right the first time, somewhere up there. So feel free to put your silly headlines in. But for now, breaking news. All right, we got some weird, well, we got a weird headline coming up. And some most of these are out of the UK, I think, today, so I apologize about that. I couldn't find anything um elsewhere. I couldn't find anything in the US, and I couldn't find anything in India other than a couple of obituaries, and I didn't think we wanted to just have loads of obituaries, so most of it is all out of the UK, if not all of it. So I apologize about that. So we do have a cool one here. Poet joins Wales women's team on the Euro 2025 journey. I don't know if there are any football fans, soccer fans, but this is cool. There's a poet that has joined the Welsh women's team on the Euro 2025 journey. So a poet says it is a dream come true to combine her great passions of football and poetry by joining the Wales women squad on their Euro 2025 journey. Literature Wales commissioned poet Sarah Macready from Cardiff to help celebrate Wales's efforts in the UEFA Women's Euro 2025 tournament in Switzerland. Her first commissioned poem entitled We Are Here was released after she attended the squad announcement on the summit of, I can't say that. Yo, with it, any Welsh people, I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that because you will hurt me. This is my dream job as a poet and Welsh football fan, Sarah told BBC Radio Wales. I think those things, I think those two things go together so beautifully, so perfectly. Interesting. Football and poetry isn't necessarily something I would naturally put together. Not that they can't be put together, of course. You know me, I anything can go be put with poetry if you force it. Um, but yeah, interesting. Go so perfectly. But that's cool. That's cool. As part of the project, developed a resource called Simru and Me. Um, I'm just trying to get to the for sport and culture added, this collaboration exemplifies Welsh creativity at its finest, celebrating both our cultural heritage and sporting excellence. So that's not the whole article, but hopefully one of the mods has put it in the chat, and you can read it in your own time. So that is that one. All right. Next up, I can't believe that I read this as a BBC News headline, but residents clean up pigeon poo ahead of Poetry Fest. Residents have taken it upon themselves to clean up unsightly and smelly pigeon poo in their town ahead of its annual poetry festival. A walkway in Ledbury, which connects the town centre to Burgage Hall, had been plagued with the droppings, the town's market committee chair, John Whiteleg, said. I won't read too much because actually one of our other, oh my goodness, and there is a photo of a significant amount of pigeon droppings, so fair enough. Yeah, I'm not going to read too much about this because one of our other headlines is about Ledbury. But when I saw that as the headline, I couldn't not bring it to you guys and share it with you. Wow. All right. So speaking of Ledbury, our next headline, Ledbury Poetry Festival. Big names to appear at major event. Ledbury Poetry Festival is a huge, if not the leading, but if it's not leading, it's certainly just a huge poetry festival here in the UK. Organisers are gearing up for the 10-day long event. Imagine that, 10 days poetry festival, which will see poetry enthusiasts flock to the town for a range of poetry talks and workshops. They have said 4,500 people are expected to attend. Amy Howard, director of Ledbury Poetry, said she is looking forward to a successful event this year. We've got some bigger names this year and a nice mix of events. I think it will be a really good one. Well, where was Adam Gary Poetry's invite? I think you guys should email Amy Howard and ask why Adam Gary Poetry didn't receive an invite. The critics will also take part in various other talks and workshops throughout the 10 days of the festival. Miss Howard said this year will mark the return of big names in poetry, including Michael Rosen, best known for his children's book, including We're Going on a Bear Hunt. I loved that story. Da, 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 da. Other well-known people that will be in attendance include Simon Armitage, UK laureate. He will be reading from his new collection. Wow, they love this log line of bigger names. I think this is the third, if not the fourth time I'm reading bigger names in this article. We've also got a really lovely event with the poetry critics. Interesting. Cool. So that's that one. And then our final headline of the stream before I completely melt. I think we may have talked about this in a recent stream. If not a recent stream, I don't think it was recent. I feel like it was maybe at the start of the year, end of last year. But Care Homes to Work with Poets in Memory project. Care homes are looking for poets to work with people living with conditions such as dementia to help them unlock memories. Literature Works Poetry Cares Residency Project, which has previously been run in Devon, maybe that's why we've read about this already, maybe we read the Devon article, is searching for poets to deliver weekly sessions at care homes in Stroud and Cheltenham this summer. Organisers said they saw remarkable results at their National Poetry Memory Cafes and hope the care home sessions will produce similar results. Am I absolutely sweating on camera, or is my camera... My webcam has a great built-in filter, so hopefully that's keeping me from looking like an absolute mess. But yeah, there you go. Let me just catch up with the chat. And it's all the links. So I think we can go back. So if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like button, by the way. We got 10 people watching and only 6 likes. I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. It does genuinely help the channel and myself. So please do that whilst we move on to the next screen. Wow. All right. Okay, cool. I am a mess. All right, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? I am getting my head together. So, part one, we're going to talk about poetry forms. I know that Mark saw my short today. Mark, you leave the most amazing comments. I absolutely love and adore the comments that you leave on my videos, especially the shorts. So, I posted a short today about a poetry form where the rules, literally the only rules for this poetry form is that every single line has to be completely unique. I'm just rolling up my linen trousers. 1 second. There we go. I'm glistening gold. Maybe on camera, in real life, I'm definitely not. Uh, yeah, the only rule is every single line has to be completely unique. So you can't repeat the meter, you can't rhyme, you can't have the same amount of syllables in any line throughout the poem. It's kind of a rebellious form, I guess. It's a rebel's form, and it and as Mark said in his comment on that video, it knocks free verse out of the park, I guess. But I just wanted to talk to you. I thought we'd spend the first half of this stream talking about forms and do you write in forms, and if you do, why do you write in forms, and if you don't, why don't you write in forms, and what do we all think about poetry forms? That's kind of what I want to talk about for the first section. So let me know your thoughts in the chat. I personally am really enjoying writing in forms. um oh, I like rebel form. Yes, you like the rebel form? Looking glamorous as always, Adam. Thank you, Danny. I don't feel it. I feel like a total mess. 1 second, guys. Sorry. Oh, I like rebel form. Yes, yes. So, do you like any other forms? Class, do you write in forms? I'm really enjoying writing in forms at the moment. Um, Especially I like researching the history of forms, where they come from, the background, and maybe what they mean. And I was kind of thinking about how I would write a descort, which is this rebel form. How how would I put that form to good use with everything having to be unique and stand out, and what theme I might use to represent that, I guess. That's kind of how I approach form these days. I was just thinking about this topic the other day and wanted to know people's thoughts on it. I tend to write more free verse and often feel a bit inferior for it. Oh no, don't. Absolutely not. There's no inferiority at all. Oh, Nightbot. Okay, I don't even know. Let me just see what a poet said. For me, I'll write in a form if I feel the poem would fit in one, like it's the right shape to wear the form shirt. I don't go out of my... What? All right, we might have to retire Nightbot because I honest he's gone rogue again. Bye, Nightbot. Nightbot's gone rogue again. Hopefully, a poet isn't timed out. Sorry, Kara. Yeah, don't feel inferior for it at all. Um, Do you ever write in form, Kara? I'm curious. Do you ever write in form? Danny says, I write whatever comes out of my brain. If it rhymes, it rhymes. Nice. Agreed. A poet. Even my shins are sweating. I didn't know shins could sweat. Yeah, so a descort. I'm trying to think about like themes that would put wait, what? Yeah, Nightbot's just being silly. Don't worry, a poet. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just Nightbot. Nightbot was like this in the last stream too. Okay, not in timeout. Okay, that's good. I'm pretty free form. Try to have structure within that with metaphor, simile, image, feeling. Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I like that a lot. And I think the form standing in the way of what you are trying to communicate is when it is a problem. Yes. That said, sometimes a form or a limitation makes you think more creatively. Yeah, so my morning workshops that I run, I started doing optional prompts, and now people, when I don't give a prompt, people are like, no, we need a prompt, we need a prompt. And I think sometimes prompts can help people, the restriction can help people. If you say, right, just do whatever you want, you spend a long time trying to just like, what? I'm not saying that, maybe that ties in with form, I'm not sure. Just choked on my dinner, thanks, Adam. Wait, what did I do? What did I do? I try to write in form occasionally, but I find that it stunts my ability to really say what I want. And sometimes it might be a good idea to write what you really want to say in free form or free verse. And then once you've completed that first draft, then you might be able to try and chisel away at it, I guess, or try and structure it into a form. I don't know what I did to make Danny choke. I think I'm learning to be more open to using the with a poem. Interesting. Wait, wasn't that one of the rules? My shins are sweating. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I forgot I even said that. They are. I didn't even know that was a thing. So yeah, Descort, I was kind of thinking it has to be about standing out, right? If it has to be a poem about standing out from the crowd or something like that, where every line has to stand out, I guess. If a prompt is a form, then I love prompts. Oh, normally well, to be honest, I do my morning workshops in libraries. So normally what I do is I just kind of look around at um book titles, and if there's a book title that grabs my attention, I'll use that as their prompt. I am a prompt eating machine. Nice, nice. Prompt eating machine. Maybe we should all give class a prompt. Has anyone got like a story where, I don't know, has anyone got a story where form really helped their poem, where they was like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I put a form to that? Or the reverse, has anyone got an example of where form kind of got in their way? Wait, do you guys have air conditioners? I assumed you do, but I just realized that's not a great assumption. No, air conditioning is not a common thing here in the UK because it's usually raining. It's usually raining, so places don't tend to have air conditioning, although it's slowly becoming more and more popular. Um, but for the most part, no, and certainly not in this garden. I'm in a garden shed, if you didn't know. I've turned this garden shed into my writing space. Well, it's more like my streaming and filming space now than writing space. In some cases, I think knowing the form can also inform whether you choose to use it for its intended purpose or subvert that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have this thing. I have this thing. I've never told anyone this. I don't think I've told anyone this, other than maybe a couple of people I'm really close to who I think would appreciate it. But for the most part, I don't think I've told you guys this. Maybe I have. So if I'm writing a poem about someone I care about or love, then naturally I write a Shakespearean sonnet because they are usually love poems or poems of affection. If I'm writing poems about people I'm neutral with or, indifferent to, I write Petrarchan sonnets. And then if it's someone I'm not too keen on, I write villanelles. ACs are a luxury in the UK, yeah. Or understand its cultural relevance as well. Absolutely, yeah. The last 2 months, I'm writing a poem every day. Wow, that's cool. Actually, this month, one poem a week with a prompt. Nice. Even just as a silly puzzle, can you write a sad limerick? That would be interesting. Yeah, I like that idea. Yes, I have an AC unit, but I have it on low. Prefer to have my windows open and sweating. Interesting. I find that ABAB is to sing songy. Yes. And tried to use it in a sad, somber piece and couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. The form was just too perky feeling for it. Yeah, that's a good example of rhyme schemes, how rhyme schemes can sometimes get in the way. You have to be careful of that. Storms. So you actually have to feel all of the heat. That's horrible. Yes. Suffering through it. Descort feels more like the freewheeling aspects of the 60s. Perhaps you need to think about the anarchy of thoughts. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Descort is the short I'm talking about, where every line has to be absolutely unique. No repetitions in that poem whatsoever, including syllable counts. Yes, the sing-songy nature of rhyming sometimes messes with what I am trying to write. I have a couple of poems. Wow, the chat is on fire tonight. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so glad that you're enjoying it. I have a couple poems that are form poems that I really like. I have one on my all poetry called To Longfellow. I thought it worked really, really well. Nice. That's awesome. It's always a nice feeling when you kind of finish a poem like, oh, yes, that hit, I guess. We're allowed to big up. Poets are so bad at putting themselves down. Do you know, every open mic I go to, most people who read at my workshops before starting to read, they always go, "This isn't very good," or "I'm not really happy with this." We always apologize for our work, and it's my mission to get them to stop doing that. So it's always a nice feeling when you go, "Yes, I that was good. I enjoyed writing that." I just finished a sestina for my father's 70th birthday. Nice. I started it in January and let it sit for 4 months or so. Nice. Excuse me, I'm just going to scroll up the chat because I feel like there was stuff coming in that I missed. Um, Maybe there wasn't. The last 2 months I'm writing a poem. I love prompts too. I've written my best poem through prompts. No AC in homes. Nope. Awesome. Is that part artist and part being British? What's that? Apologizing for our work? Yeah, probably. I wonder if the atmosphere and culture of the 19th century is reflected in the poetry of the times. I think naturally it kind of has to. I don't see how it couldn't be. The times, which was more formal and structured, a radical change in the 20th. Yeah, I think naturally it has to kind of be that way, right? Um, and the beats came along and changed all of that. And I think things are beginning to change. Tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Hello, shed scribblers. Oh, scribbers. Hello. What is a scribber? Oh, no, I was thinking of scrubber. That's not a nice thing to say, at least here in the UK. I think you meant scribblers. Shed scribblers. I like that. Hello, uh, Herb. Hello, Herb Haggle. The YouTube has changed the names that it wants to display for some reason. But yes, welcome to the stream, Mythical Meter. What was I just saying? I can't remember what I was saying. AKA Mythical Meter, yeah. What was I saying? What was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like things are starting to change again. I feel like poetry is starting to. We had obviously the big Insta poetry boom, which I feel like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it's just me, is slowly dying out and has had its day now, perhaps. And now we're moving into more long form content, which is good to see. But again, tell me if I'm wrong, and I mean that. Tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me not engaging with it anymore and I'm not as exposed to it. I just finished a sestina, did that. Yep. Yep. I've never tried a sestina, but they seem like one of those forms which is really demanding, but it's satisfying. That's the first yawn of the stream. I yawned in the gym today, folks. So there you go. I yawned like 3 times consecutively. Like, yawn, yawn, 3 times in the gym. So it's not personal, guys. If I can yawn in the gym, I'll end up yawning anywhere. Uh, Satisfying if you can get it. Gosh, the last 3 days I was putting down my work after I handed it in for critique. Ah, I see. Gosh, the last 3 days I was putting down my work after I handed it in for critique, and I was received with one of my best works. Getting better. Nice. Congratulations, class. That's really, really awesome. Yeah, we put ourselves down and we apologize for our work too much. It has to stop. It has to stop here and it has to stop now. I don't know that any of us here are in a place to speak otherwise, but I am curious if outside of the Western world how things have shifted. Yes, yes. I was actually interviewing someone last week who was from India and in the India poetry scene. And we was just talking about how much of a boom it is over there right now. In fact, most of my subscribers are from the US, but the second most popular location of my subscribers is India, and then the third is UK. So I have more subscribers in India than in the UK. A poet, it, a poet. It was mind-boggling. It's my second one. I got it burned in wood to give it to my father. That's amazing. I remember you telling me that now, actually, in another stream. Scriber. Hello. Hello, hey. I don't know what those voices were, but yeah. I've tried a golden shovel a few times with lyrics, but haven't liked any of them. Oh no, that's not good. I don't know if it's because Insta poetry is dying out as a preference or just the algorithm shifting so it isn't promoted the same way. Right, this is what I mean. I feel like it's dying out, but it might just be my algorithm or just the fact that I'm not exposing myself to it. Hey, Mythical. I think algorithm gives better priority to long form content. Yeah. A form I actually really like to use is erasure. Yes, blackout poetry, also cento, but erasure is really good for writer's block and is surprisingly loose. Texts are malleable. Yeah, I use that a lot in my workshops, a poet. I use that a lot. Another exercise I play with my in my workshops, because again they're all in libraries, is an exercise called spine poetry. Maybe you guys want to do this if you've got a nice collection of books, if you've got a big bookshelf. If you have, that's awesome. You're amazing. Yeah, spine poetry. Basically, you take 5 to 7 book titles from the spines and use those in your poem or be inspired by them for your poem, which is fun. You can try that out. I think you're right, Adam. I feel like the poetical landscape seems to be changing because the atmosphere and current temperament is demanding that something more grounded and centered. But we aren't here to talk about that, though there are 2 books on the topic I keep wanting to read, but one isn't out yet. Did I miss something? Oh, you mean the algorithm? Yes, I used to know all of the algorithms really, really well, but I kind of stopped listening to all of that. Well, I deleted my Instagram for one, but then I've started a new one, and that's a great chance to tell you to follow me on Instagram, Adam Gary Poetry. I did delete my Instagram, and after that, I kind of stopped worrying about algorithms. I have a TikTok, but I haven't logged into TikTok in I don't know how long. I have a love-hate relationship with haiku. They rub me the wrong way a little, but they are a little addicting to read, and a good one really hits. I love haiku. If I'm ever like, I use haiku. I use haiku, tanka, loon. Um, Recently discovered the chuechu, which is a Chinese form. I use them as warm-ups a lot, or just to break writer's block. Yeah, just algorithms and culture and art. Yeah, I read something today that NFT, remember those? An NFT that once sold for $63 million is now worth no more than $100. Ooh. Anyway, I don't know what made me say that, but algorithms and culture, I guess, and trends. I need like a mist spray, guys. Can someone Amazon ship me a mist spray? Remember the actually, I think I remember winter streams when I'd have channel beanies on, but obviously that's the natural cycle of weather. We can't be in the winter all the time unless you live in the Antarctic or whatever. Technically, that is your sweat. Nice. Yeah, just bottle up my sweat, pour it into a canister, and just spray it back on myself. Nice, Genevieve. Real nice. Just kidding, just kidding. Adam, you can totally get a handheld fan that missed. Oh, you can? Open your doors. We're gonna go for a break. Oh, we still got 20 minutes. We still got 20 minutes. We're gonna go for a break. I actually have a shoulder fan somewhere. I don't know if it still works, but I might find that. Oh no, not what I mean. Yes, it was Genevieve. Of course it was. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, last question on form, I guess. What's everyone's favorite form? And if you've already said it, I apologize. That can mist water. I meant technically your sweat serves that purpose. Yes, yes, yes. On my shins as well, apparently. All right, last question on form. What's everyone's favorite form? Do you have one? Maybe you don't have one. I know that Kara said they have a love-hate relationship with haiku, but what are your favorites? Throw them in the chat right now. Wet your hair. Yeah, I had wet hair. I have wet hair every time I do a channel member stream, I swear. And then I had wet hair filming the National Poets video, and I don't like it now. Now I look like whatever. Um, we'll sort it out. I'm getting pretty lazy now. Free verse, free verse. Hey, Mythical Meter, have you seen the Descort? Have you seen my short today? You might like the Descort. As Mark said, it's like free verse on steroids. But technically, it has rules, right? It has a rule. It what do they call that? That's like a conundrum. That's not the word I wanted. But it's supposed to be a poem that has no rules. No, shut up, Adam. The heat's getting to me. Never mind. Never mind. But it's one rule is that every line has to be completely unique. Not for actual things, but amuse myself with limericks. Yeah, we all love a good limerick. My favourite form is to get deeply into my loving sorrow and to speak with truth. I like that, yes. And to speak with truth, that's paramount. That's absolutely paramount as a poet, right? I shall look later. No worries, no worries. I had my lock screen off, like timer off, and it rinsed my battery, so I put it back on, and now I keep getting locked out of mod chat. You might call it a formless form. Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, for those of you who weren't here at the start of the stream, I was saying I'm really working on upping my like production value and upping my game in my videos, quality over quantity. And I've been working on this video that I think I explained to you guys a long time ago on one of the streams. That's how long it's been in the works for. But the national poets, the global national poets. So I go through the national poet for a load of different countries. I think it's about 15 different countries. So Shakespeare being the one for England, Burns being the one for Scotland. I feel like I can say that because they are obvious, right? That's not spoilers, I don't think. Um, but my poor computer is really struggling. It can't process all the different effects and transitions and sound effects and songs and what have you. So every time I click, it basically crashes. So to get through 2, 3 minutes of the video, I'm not kidding, guys. It's taken me about 4 hours. So it's slow progress, but we are still making progress. Hopefully I can finish the video before my computer completely gives up. But I'm really excited to show you guys that video. Could you take your shorts about forms and make a video compilation for groups of them? That's an interesting idea. I have been thinking about ways to switch up the channel a little bit, make things a bit more fresh and exciting. So that's an idea. That's an idea. Oh. I think maybe we'll take an early break. Maybe we'll take an early break so I can go and get my neck fan and some fresh air. Is that okay, guys? Does that sound all right? We'll take a 5 minute break a little bit early. Normally we do it on the hour, but maybe we can do it a little bit early. We got a new intro song, by the way, as well. Did anyone notice? Slowly switching things up. All right, I'm gonna be cheeky and I'm gonna take a 5 minute break. Earlier breaks per every. Oh, we nearly took a break. Nice. You're a legend. Thank you so much, Dazzle, for the 199 super chat. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot. It all gets put into new content. We're trying to get some on the hunt videos funded, so thank you so much, Dazzle, for that. If you needed to take a 10-minute breather, Adam, if needed, take a 10-minute breather. Oh no, I won't take 10 minutes. I'll just take a 5 minute top up on water. Uh, top up on water and go and see if I can find my neck fan. Set a Pomodoro timer. Work 25, break 5. You guys might get tired of that. All right, let's take 5 and have fun. Okay. Uh, I have this. I found this, but I don't know if the mic is picking this up. So let me know if it suddenly sounds like a jet engine, and I'll have to turn it off. But otherwise, it should go a long way in keeping things a little bit cooler. Might refresh you and get us all reset. Pomodoro timer. Thank you, Dazzle, for supporting the community. Absolutely, thank you, Dazzle. Thank you, Dazzle. I was saying thank you, Dazzle, and then I saw that Mythical Meat also said thank you, Dazzle. Adam should take a quick rinse in the shower and come back soaking wet. That would be nice. That would be nice. Funny you say that. I did swap out my linen trousers for my nice bright pink swimming shorts, just because they were the only shorts to hand. But I am wearing swimming shorts now, so that kind of works. But yeah, let me know if the mic is picking up the neck fan. Otherwise, I'll have to turn them off. But hopefully we are all reset. We are all cooled down a little bit. We have topped up on refreshment and we're ready to go again. We are in this round, we are going to discuss not pigeon poo. We did the pigeon poo. We're going to talk about common poetry mistakes, I guess, by poets. Nope, all good. Excellent. Let me get back into mod chat. Shiny Adam's brain is melting. Yes. Yes. Goodness me, it sounds like these fans are working overtime. So we're going to talk about common mistakes made by poets. I really only have one mistake in mind that made me go, oh, maybe I should discuss that. So knowing me, I've probably picked the wrong topic. But I wanted to talk about little mistakes, and they're not necessarily mistakes, but they are sometimes they are things that we do that can kind of hinder us in the future and we don't realize that's what we're doing. And basically, I might as well just tell you, it's kind of posting our poems on Instagram or on YouTube and not realizing that actually that counts as being published. And so some magazines, some competitions won't accept those poems because technically they've been published. Gotta go. Enjoyed this live. No worries, Kara. Good to have you. I'm glad that you enjoyed your first live stream, and I hope we see you again. Um, yeah, some places will consider that being published, which I kind of disagree with. I get it, but I think the world is hard enough as it is without having to tell poets that they can't put their own poem on their own social media. I think that kind of sucks, really. But good day, Adam. Hi, hi, hi. Good day, Weirdo Weddings. Hello, Weirdo Weddings. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We're just talking about how we're talking about beginner poetry mistakes. And I guess it's not technically a mistake. It's something that we might do without realizing it has repercussions. It's not just poetry. Oh, it's not. It's other art forms as well. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Um, yeah, I kind of think that's a bit harsh. It's a bit harsh not letting poets post their work on social media. And that's why I've got a couple of new poems, but I'm holding off. Normally, I would be like, I'm going to record a video and put it straight on the channel or put it on my Instagram. And I've held off because I'm kind of ready now. I think I'm kind of at a point in my career, if you like, if you call it that, where I want to try and get a book deal. I want to try and get traditionally published. So I can't put it on my social media, which kind of sucks. And there may come a point where I'm just like, I can't hold it in anymore. I want you guys, I want my Gary girls to hear these new poems. So that's kind of what made me think about talking about beginner poetry mistakes. But of course, We can open up the discussion in a minute about other things as well. Thank you so much for those hearts. What's up? Just happened to find this going and stopped in. So glad that you did. So glad that you did. Genevieve's here, as you can see. It's me, Jen. Yes, I didn't know if you wanted me to call you Jen. Basically, YouTube has suddenly out of nowhere decided to change the names that are being displayed. So I didn't know if you wanted me to call you Jen or not. So I just went with Weirdo Weddings. If you haven't already, by the way, Gary Giles and Jen, if you want to send it to Genevieve on Instagram somehow, hopefully we can get a link going. I did do an interview with Jen. I did an interview with Jen. So if you haven't seen that, hopefully we can get the link put into the chat at some point. That would be great. And if you want to watch me talking to Jen about promoting Passion Conference, which is where we met, actually where I met Genevieve as well, and other stuff, you can watch that interview. Yeah, I didn't know either. Totally fine. YouTube are just suddenly deciding to change everything up. So, oh yes. Feel free to put the link in the chat. Jen, you won't be able to, but if you can send it to Genevieve, because Genevieve is a mod, we can get a link in the chat for you. Now, let me just scroll up to see if Genevieve. It's a bit of a double. I didn't have to scroll up at all. It's right there in front of me. It's a bit of a double-edged sword issue, yes. How do you promote yourself or potentially generate income without posting work or prove to someone that there is an audience for your work? Exactly, exactly right. Thank you, Genevieve. Yeah, she posted. Yeah, great. So if you want to watch an interview with me and Weirdo Weddings, the link has just been posted in the chat. Yeah, I tried to pick poems for my all poetry that I'm okay with not getting officially published. It's a bit frustrating. It is. It really is. Though I think collections can have previously self-published poems. I don't think they can. I mean, I might be wrong on that, but I'm fairly certain that that absolutely. Thank you for those hearts coming in. I'm fairly certain that that would come under previously published. Um, but maybe I'm wrong on that. So what are other beginner poetry mistakes? If a beginner poet sees our title of this live stream and decides to watch the playback and got the chat box on the screen and seeing the advice that you lovely poets give, what are the mistakes that beginner poets are making, and what mistakes were you making um first starting out that others can avoid doing? I think it may depend on the publisher. Right. Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. Magazines that are picky, I think. Right. Makes sense. Yes, that makes sense because I'm fairly certain that poems get published in magazines. Now I'm thinking about it. Poems get published in magazines and will then go on to feature in collections. So that would make sense actually. About a year ago, YouTube made you do a certain thing to keep your handle name as is, or else you would have got the dash and numbers. I remember this. Letters behind your name. Yeah, I remember that. Not reading other poets' poetry. This is a good one, class. This is a really good one. If you're a hobbyist poet, I need to think about this for a second. If you're writing poetry as just a hobby, I guess it doesn't matter too much, but you will always benefit from reading other poets' work. But if you're so by that I mean if you're a poet who just writes a poem and it goes into a storage box, into a drawer, and you don't really care if you write good poetry or bad poetry, you just want an outlet, you just want to express yourself, fine. But I would still recommend doing this. But certainly if you're looking to be a career poet or a poet that actually wants to take their poetry somewhere, it's so important to read other poets' work. It's so important to read widely. It's important to know what you like, and it's important to know why you like it. And of course, it is genuinely important to know what you don't like and why you don't like it. And that may change over the years. It has for me. Um, but it's so important to read your contemporaries, to read classics, um, as much and as varied as possible. Over editing, comparing your beginning output to someone's finished work after years of practice. Yes. Yes. And don't we all do it in so many aspects? Um, we just starting out and we read our work and we compare it with someone who has been writing for years, for decades even, has edited and polished and refined, and you read your first draft and you've only been writing a week. What kind of comparison is that? And I can make this joke, and I promise you, I'm not making fun of anyone because I've done that. So I can I'm poking fun at myself, to be honest with you. I've done that when I first started in many things. In most hobbies I start, I wonder why I'm not a master at it right away. Um, so yeah, go easy on yourself. And we were kind of talking earlier about the habits that we have when we're at open mics or in workshops and we're about to read our stuff and we go, it's not that good, but could you imagine? Could you imagine going to see, well, anyone really, could you imagine going to see uh, a local band, a local band, so not necessarily Beyonce or whatever, because we don't compare ourselves with Beyonce, but a local band, right? And you've got your drink, you've sat down, and the host for the evening gives them a nice introduction, and they come up on stage, and the lead singer goes, "Hi everyone, thanks for coming. We're not the best, we're not too good, but I hope you enjoy the evening." Could you imagine? And that's easier said than done. I realize we have to we it's something we have to get used to, not not putting ourselves down and not apologizing. Yes, reading in general. Yeah, absolutely class. I wish I could read more of people's poetry, but I've been having a lot of trouble recently finding time to read poetry. It's harder to read than fiction, which I read far more. Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me. Yeah, when you're reading poetry, if you want to really take it in, it can take some time. If you really want to break it down and analyze it and understand, it can take some time for sure. Oh no, I forgot to. Have I got? I don't even know if I have my laptop charger. Well, that's not good. My laptop is about to die of battery. It's just gone on to energy saver mode, and I don't have my charger out here with me. I think we've all done that, comparing ourselves to others because we so want and need to be accepted. Yeah, that it's counterintuitive to not compare ourselves to others. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's what's great about this little community and this little stream family we got going on. We all accept each other. Yes, a poet. For the longest time, I didn't even like reading poetry, but I liked writing it. But now I'm learning to start to read poetry. Second break. It may come to that. It may come to that. We'll see. We'll push the laptop to its limits. To know to know poetry is a lifelong journey to your last breath. Yes. Yeah, I'm struggling to carve out time to read as well. I used to love reading in the mornings, but unfortunately I am addicted to this thing over here, which is my phone. And as soon as I wake up, it's straight into emails, doom scrolling, seeing what I'm doing for the day. Not good. Not good. I need to break that habit. I had downtime on and screen whatever, but I overrode it, so I just turned it all off. The Dunning-Kruger effect saved my poetry. When I started writing, I thought my poetry was really good when it was trash. Then I understood what is good poetry and became really anxious, but then I wrote okay. The Dunning-Kruger effect, I'm not sure what this is, a poet. Would you mind explaining what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, please? I do like that though, class. To know poetry is a lifelong journey to your last breath. Everything in life is poetry. Everything is poetry. Fans around my neck, drying the beads of sweat. There's a bit of poetry for you. You know, you can just call me Eminem if you like. I don't mind. That was completely off the cuff freestyle. Oh, goodness me. This is where my subscriber count just plummets. If you're not subscribed, if you're watching playback and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to make it to 10,000 by the end of the year. I don't know. It's gonna be close. I don't know. Do you think we can do it? Do you think we can hit 10,000 realistically by the end of the year? I know Danny Danny had a what did Danny say? If you're still with us, Danny, what did you say about what I would do for 10,000 subs? Can you remember? The Dunning-Kruger effect saved my poetry. Novices tend to think they're better at something than they actually are, since they don't know what makes good quality. Let's make a poetry challenge, at least 25 to 60 minutes a day reading poetry instead of doom scrolling. All right, class, let's do it. I'm with you. Let's do it. Yes, we're going to make 10,000. 10,000 before Christmas. You think before Christmas? I was hopeful when we hit 8,000. I think we hit 8,250 within 3 weeks. I was like, oh my goodness, I think we can hit 10,000. Now I'm not sure. Now I'm not sure. I'm not sure. If anyone can do it though, it's you guys. Any challenge I set for you, every time you do it, every time you do it. So 10,000 by Christmas, class says. And if you haven't hit that like button, again, I'd really appreciate it too. Okay, so we've had not reading other poets' work. We've had kind of a mistake, not really a mistake, publishing your work online and not realizing how that could potentially jeopardize you. What other mistakes do we have? What other mistakes do we have that we can think of for any beginner poets that are watching either in the background right now or on playback? And if you are watching in the background right now, don't be afraid to say hi. We're a very welcoming bunch. We don't bite. We'd love to hear from you. All we ask is that you keep it respectful if you've got a different opinion. And we don't talk about politics and religion. Okay, done with links, but just in case. Oh yeah, it was something about roller skating, wasn't it? Let me see if I wrote it on one of the sheets. Yeah, I think it was something to do with roller skating. I don't know how much these are actually doing, although I'm not sweating right now, so I guess they're just keeping me dry. I don't know. What other mistakes can we help our beginner poet friends avoid? Yeah, looks like it was roller skating. Oh my goodness. Did I agree to that? Was I streaming while I was roller skating, or I'm just doing a short roller skating? My biggest mistake was focusing on meter, rhyme, and form too much instead of imagery, diction, flow, figurative language. Right. Did I really say that? Adam to get his skates out if we hit 10 by the end of the year. All right, let's not. No. If we hit 10,000, I will go roller skating and probably break my arm or something. But I'll do it. If I said I'd do it, I'll do it. If we hit 10,000 by Christmas. Back to a poet. My biggest mistake was focusing on meter, rhyme, and form too much instead of imagery, diction, flow, figurative language. Right. And these are all tools, not rules. This is what I say in my poetry for beginner workshops. Things like rhyming, meter, syllable count, or syllabic count. Um, what have I said? Metaphors. Did I say that? Probably. Form. Um, these are tools, not rules. Skating to Avril Lavigne. Oh man, I still have a crush on Avril Lavigne. These are all tools, not rules. So yes, you can use them and put them to good use, but they're not mandatory. Poems don't have to rhyme. You don't have to count your syllables in your lines, etc., etc. I'm not saying I did this, but wait, I'm not saying I did this. I haven't read the rest of it yet, but if you have to put that in front of it, now I'm sus. I'm not saying I did this, but Inspired to Write often mentions, oh, is that an app? Inspired to Write, is that a channel or Instagram? Inspired to Write often mentions blocking people you know in real life to allow yourself space to create things without worrying about their judgment. Huh. Okay. Off the bat, I didn't agree with that right away, but now I think about it, I guess if you're sort of if you're having that anxiety, I wouldn't say block them. I wouldn't say block them. I heard the advice after I was past this point. I don't know if I'd say block them. I'd say maybe create a second account and not tell them about it. But I don't know if I would recommend blocking people out of your life so that you can share your poetry. Unless I'm not completely understanding. I would say just make another account and not tell anyone about it and kind of be under a pen name. And there's something really this I recently did some writing at the end of last year or the beginning of this year, I forget when it was, under a pen name. Doo, 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 under a pen name, and it was so freeing. It was so freeing. But I haven't it was a one and done type thing. I heard the advice after a lot of folks have been crushed with poetry by teachers. Yeah, I know. I know. I was one of them. I was one of them, obviously a long time ago, but I was one of them who shove it down your throat before you're ready to sample and enjoy it. There's that. Yes. There's also the fact that you get asked, what do you think about this poem? And you tell the teacher what you think about this poem and they tell you you're wrong. And that's something I combat in all my workshops. Just create a separate account. Yeah, that's what I would say. And they suggest blocking them at that point too. You mean they would suggest blocking people you know from a separate account? I guess so. I guess that sort of minimizes the risk of them finding it. But if unless you're posting a picture of your face, um, it seems like a long way round of doing things, but I don't know. I'm not suggesting, and I don't think they are literally blocking people from your. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. blocking them from it on the separate account. I guess that minimizes the risk of them finding out who you are, especially if you're posting your face. But if you're just posting your poems, I don't know how they would figure out it was you. Unless you say, roses are red, violets are blue. My moderator Genevieve said, I hate all of you. I don't know. I don't hate all of you. I love all of you. But unless your poem's specifically mentioning the people you don't want to read it, then I don't know. Do what you got to do, I guess. Do what you got to do. Where's the harm in it, I guess? Just be anonymous for a bit. Yeah. Wow. Wow. I'm not going to charge for that live reading. Again, just call me Eminem. It's fine. See what happens when I mention something someone else suggests? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I thought at first, I thought you meant block them from your personal account, which I wouldn't recommend. Don't start losing real life connections to share poetry. But I guess if you're creating an anonymous account and you want to minimize the risk of them finding out, then I guess you could just block them. There's no harm in that if they don't even know it's you, right? Another mistake is trying to decode poetry when reading it instead of appreciating it, also expecting people to decode your writing. Yes. I have left many a hidden clue in my poems. I don't know if anyone's ever found them yet, but I have left many a hidden um, acrostics. I think I've mentioned it before so well that even I've forgotten where they are. But yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say I would say if that's your style, like writing in extended metaphor or stuff, there's probably nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's fun. But it isn't, it's certainly not the be all and end all. And I think you definitely have to work up to enjoying breaking down a poem and analyzing a poem. And I think right off the bat, a poet's right. Just enjoy reading the poetry. And if you don't, my advice would be if you're reading poetry and you don't understand it right away, don't completely dismiss it because it may be that there's stuff hidden in that poem that you're not quite ready or you don't quite know how to break it down. And that's okay because we all have to start from somewhere. We all have to start from somewhere. I would say do what a poet has said, catch the bug of just reading poetry for the sake and enjoyment of reading poetry. And then eventually it's a good skill set to have if you can learn to enjoy breaking down a poem, I guess. Haha, keeping secrets even from yourself. Yes. Yeah, exactly. How's the laptop battery doing? 20%. Okay. I think we can last another 10 minutes. I think we've got another 10 minutes in us for the stream. And then I'll have to say goodbye. Just like that. Goodbye. It has to be understandable to people. Don't expect them to waste their time trying to figure out what you're saying when you aren't actually expressing yourself enough to expect them to understand it. Yeah. Yeah. If you're too cryptic, it's going to be tough. My sort of the way I want to write is I like having little hidden meanings and little hidden. I always describe breaking down a poem as a treasure hunt and discovering little golden nuggets. And I think in your poem, you want to strive to have golden nuggets rather than the whole poem just kind of. I mean, if your whole poem is a gold bar, who wouldn't want that? I guess I'd love my poems to be referred to as gold bars, but um, you have to be very careful that in your excitement of making a cryptic sort of hidden meaning, hidden message poem, you don't make it impossible for someone to digest. And look, if you want to be a popular poet, or if you want to be a poet that sells lots of books, the reason Rupi Kaur is selling millions of copies is because everyone understands it at face value, right? Everyone can read it and know exactly what it's saying. And that's a whole other discussion to have for a whole other stream. Let's not go down that road right now. Back to Insta poetry and stuff. But yeah, you're right, a poet. It has to be understandable. I'm just watching playback and I'm just throwing my head around. It's like a dance. I'm doing some neck stretches. Thank you so much for that like. I see someone's just hit like on the video. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get one more. Let's get one more common beginner poetry mistake that we can help our future friends of the stream, hopefully, if they're watching this on playback, our future poetry pal. Uh let's answer one more, or advise one more common beginner poetry mistake. Can anyone think of another one? Oh, by the way, I don't know if we shared the link to the Magma article, but if you want, there's a great article. I'm going to share it now, mods, so don't panic too much. I've already got you. I already got your backs. There's a great article from Magma Poetry there, that you can read after the stream by Roddy Lumsden, that you might want to peruse. I can't remember if that was already shared or not. So if it was, I apologize for stepping on some toes. My bad. And whilst we're at this quick interval, whilst we're thinking of some more mistakes that we can help our friends out with, can we just get a huge round of applause and a huge thank you to our amazing mod team? I closed last week's live and I kicked myself because I forgot to give them a shout out. But they are amazing. They keep me in check behind the scenes, and they do a lot of work behind the scenes as well in moving stream sheets and keeping you guys safe and stuff like that. So can we get lots of hearts, lots of thank yous, lots of whatever you want? Just show your appreciation for our mods, Danny and Genevieve. There we go. We got some hearts coming in. So I'm going to give some Gary Gore love to our mods as well, because I really do appreciate them and all that they do to keep me rolling and um, keep me in check. There we go. Thank you for putting all those hearts. Let's flood the chat box. Come on, folks. Genevieve. Genevieve just put in the mod chat a big old GIF saying "Boo mods." No, seriously, I appreciate it, Genevieve and Danny. I appreciate everything you do. And on that note, I guess we don't have a final. I guess we don't have a final bit of advice. Let me try and think of something. Beginner poetry mistakes. I guess it goes. Maybe it goes back to that. It's not the Kruger thing. Is it Kruger? I'm just thinking of Freddy Krueger now. The I forget who put it in the chat as well. Was it a poet? Was it a poet? The Kruger, Freddy Krueger technique. I don't know what it was called. Sorry. Um, just don't run before you can walk. I think a lot of us do it. I did it. Don't run before you can walk. Take it easy. Enjoy the process. Um, if you're watching this video, you found this channel. There's so much poetry related content. Dunning-Kruger. Okay, there we go. I prefer Freddy. A poet mentioned it first. I thought so. Um, if you found this channel, there's so much content on this channel already that's poetry related. You got the forms every Sunday shorts. There's some old videos about how to write poetry and stuff. And then there are these streams every Sunday where we just talk about poetry related topics, and just watching watching these streams will go a long way in kind of being a sponge and absorbing different things, I guess. Um, so don't run before you can walk. Don't go Freddie Dunning-Kruger. Um, don't worry too much about the tools, not rules. Don't worry too much about writing in rhyme and forms and stuff like that. Just enjoy the expression through poetry. Catch the bug first. Read, as class says, read other people's poetry. It is really, really important. I promise you. You might think it's not, but it is. It will inspire you, it will inform you. And even if the all you get from it is, I don't like this type of poetry, that's really valuable too. Um, and I just want to close with one more. What can I think of? One more beginner poetry mistake. Do you know what? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Don't feel like it sounds like I'm just here to promote the channel. Of course, I'm here to promote the channel because it's my channel, but I'm genuinely not just saying it. It's something I see all the time, all the time. Don't feel like you're out there on your own. As poets, writing poetry is a very solitary thing, but don't feel like you're out, it's you against the world. It really doesn't have to be. There's this channel and these streams, the community here. There's the Poetry Cove community. There are other communities out there too. Just don't feel like it's you versus the world. Get to know other poets, make friends with other poets, engage with other poets. Because I see that a lot. I do see that a lot. Other than that, I think that concludes our stream quite nicely, I think. So thank you so much for your time this evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already hit that like button, if you have already hit that like button, you're amazing. I appreciate it. Thank you, Dazzle, for the super chat, and I'll see you all in the next video or stream. I am working on that National Poets Around the World. My computer can't handle it. It's such a big video, but I will get it done for you. Otherwise, good night, happy writing, and see you all soon.